All right, y'all, welcome back to my channel. It is time for the investment guesses for roster update 2, due out this Friday, May 14th. It's probably not going to be as big as that first roster update. Obviously, there's been quite a few weeks of gameplay in there. They're probably making up for a few things that maybe were a little light in the opening day roster. So I don't expect quite as much activity. That said, I still had a list of 100 names that is available to my Twitch subscribers, twitch.tv/Spore. Pared it down to 40 names for y'all. Still got plenty of juice here. And we're just going to run through them. Let's just start at the very top here with Max Scherzer. He's been out of his mind, looking like old school Max. I got him for 2-point boost up to 90. Then we move into the closer tier. And, closer's been kind of wild this year. And I know that specifically because I tweeted out a list of the saves leaders so far this year. And it was weird. It had its mix of guys, including Aroldis Chapman. But a lot of the names on there really surprised me as to who's been doing well. Mark Melancon leads the league. Now, that one's not as surprising because he's on a great team. But like Richard Rodriguez is on there. Cesar Valdez, not a fake player, I promise. But anyway, Aroldis Chapman's on there as well. He's doing remarkably well. His K rate has a chance to get to 125 by the end of the year with the strikeouts he's putting up. So I've got him going up to an 87, although I'm seeing that maybe I sold that short, because if all he needs is plus 10s to get to 89, then he could be having a heck of a boost. And frankly, we could see 90 down the road with him. So, he's always relatively expensive, or expensive relative to his overall because of how good he is as a power-throwing lefty reliever. If he gets up to a 90, y'all, he's going to be difficult to afford. So you might want to jump in now if you can, whether you're doing collections or if you just want a badass lefty for your bullpen. I know he's a little pricey there at $39.40K. Hopefully you can scrounge together things and get him, because I don't think you want to be left out in the cold in case he goes way up. Not necessarily this week, but if he hits that 90 mark, we saw last year some guys really take a jump. We don't know how that's going to work this year, but I'd be careful to just let it go and wait and see, and then all of a sudden he's like 75K or something. Sticking with his team, we have to talk about Giancarlo Stanton. He's going to be my diamond pick for the week here. I've got 2 new diamonds. One of them's on the Discord sheet for Twitch subscribers. This one's coming out here for you guys. Market's already there. I understand that. The problem is with both diamonds, market's kind of already there. So it's more just confirming what the market already agrees on, that Giancarlo Stanton has been truly absurd and will get to the diamond threshold this week. He's just looking like himself. I just pray, please just stay healthy, man, because I don't want it to be like Buxton, man. We start getting the great season from Buxton, then he gets hurt. I don't want to see that from Stanton, so I just hope he stays healthy. We've seen multiple healthy seasons from him. It's been a while, but he had those 2 back-to-back that were really good, including the MVP. We all just, I don't care whether you like the Yankees or not. I don't have any love for the Yankees. Sorry, Yankee fans. I still want to see Giancarlo Stanton stay healthy because it's fun for baseball. All right, let's talk about some gold to gold movement here. This sets up our future diamonds, so they are important players. Can't remember if he's RP or CP. I think he actually is RP, which is correct. He is not their closer, but James Karinchak just continues to go off. And we know the best way for him to get boosted is via the walk rate. Now, you can still obviously move forward with his hit and Ks because those still have some wiggle room. But I think if we're really going to see him get to diamond this year, I think he needs to maintain his walk rate. I mentioned that back on the first update, and boy, has he. In fact, I'm not sure. I'm checking it right now if you're wondering why I'm looking over here. Oh, only one guy, and it was a couple days ago, his last time out. He's walked one guy since the last update in 6 2/3 with 12 strikeouts and 1 hit. I'm telling y'all, like, the tough part with relievers is getting them to diamond based on their small samples can be difficult, but we saw what happened with Devin Williams last year. He used a pretty small sample to get to diamond, and I think it was justified given how well he was pitching, and he started off slow this year, and everyone's like, well, they overdid it. Turns out they didn't necessarily overdo it because he's getting back on track. James Karinchak is really putting himself in focus to get to diamond. I got him for 84 this week, but I don't think you want to wait too long to get in. I think you need to jump in now if you're interested in James Karinchak, or else you might miss the train, and then all of a sudden he's up over 4,500 and you can barely get anything. We also have, going up to an 84, an old school player, man. This is a throwback, and I'm excited by this. I mean, it's probably because I have him on my biggest fantasy league, but Buster Posey's playing out of his mind right now. I've got him going to an 84 as well. You see the inside edge giving us the tips. Plus 13s against righties would get him there. So he's going to be on the cusp. The power surge that he's having this year is why he has a legitimate opportunity to get back to diamond. I don't know what the odds would have been or what bar bet you could have won if you had bet somebody that Buster Posey was going to be a live series diamond this year in MLB The Show at some point. Now, it's not guaranteed, but the fact that it's very much in the conversation is pretty awesome. Another guy, this one isn't old school, but this is a former diamond trying to get back to his old heights and doing so with an amazing season thus far. I've got Chris Bryant going up to an 84. I don't think he quite gets the 5 points just yet, or the 4 points just yet, but he's been excellent. And the fact of it is that when healthy, Chris Bryant is a remarkably good player. I don't understand this idea that he's washed. And you'd say, well, it comes off of last year. It's before that, though. People act like this guy's been washed for like a decade. First off, he hasn't even been playing for a decade. There's just this weird feeling about Chris Bryant that is so misguided and frankly dead ass wrong. The only bad season he's had was last year when he only played half of it. He played 34 games. He was terrible, I will grant that. But again, people were acting like we were seeing the end of his career well before that, even in 2019 when he was an all-star and had a 903 OPS. I promise you can go back and you can find this general idea of like, what's wrong with Chris Bryant? Why isn't he that good? I don't know what drives it. Maybe it was the 13 homer, 102 game season of 2018, but even that was still a very good season for the 102 games he played. He got hurt. Like, I don't know. I love KB. He's got a great shot to get back to diamond this year, and there's still plenty of meat on the bone as far as investing goes. Next up is another 84, and I backed out. That'll probably happen 52 times while I'm doing this. No big deal. It is my boy, B. Woody, Brandon Woodruff. You can see the market's already kind of there on him. There's not a ton of meat left on the bone. In fact, the paradigm has shifted here where Burns is now the guy you can invest in and make more stubs because everyone's worried about him being on the IL. This is a great opportunity to get some Burns and put him off to the side for when he comes back because his IL stint is a COVID protocol thing, if I recall correctly. No? Or is it an actual injury? Am I tripping on that? Hang on. Let me check myself before I perhaps riggedy wreck myself. Everyone should unsubscribe and never watch me again for saying that. But yeah, it's undisclosed. He's on the IL with an undisclosed reason. We know what that means from last year. That is 1,000% COVID related. Whether he has it directly or not, we do not know. And maybe it's something that he said, please do not share that. I think it's the player choice. But the thing of it is, dude, if you say undisclosed reasons, you're basically saying that they have COVID. So I don't know. We just learned that Fernando Tatis has COVID. Like he didn't go on with undisclosed reasons. He has it. So I don't know. The bottom line is you can invest in both of these guys. Hopefully you already got in on B. Woody because like I said, there's just not a ton of meat left on the bone. For those that don't know, Diamond's quick sell at 5,000. Now here's the thing. When guy goes to Diamond, you're not necessarily going to have to quick sell them. So there's more than just the 1,300, and I'm rounding, of course, but there's more than just like the 1,300 price that you would get, because he would probably go up to like between 8 and 10K off rip, and then you can put in sell orders for those and still make some stuff. So there probably is more meat here than I'm implying because I was using it off of the 5,000 there. But yeah, I think he's going to go to 84 this week. I think Burns obviously is going to stay where he is because he hasn't really pitched since the last update. But both are worthy of investment. Next up, this one you want to talk about a shock? It's another. It's a shock from the same team that we just talked about here a moment ago that had a shot. Well, actually, no. Sorry. I'm all over the place. I was thinking of the Buster Posey thing being a shock. The Chris Bryant thing isn't. But Craig Kimbrell, another oldie who is on the cusp of returning to Diamond. I've got him going to an 83, and here's the reason that he's got an opportunity to actually do this. He has been incredible. Now, he is still walking, guys. I wish I had better news on that front because that would really get him there. But again, Inside Edge gives us wonderful insight to what it would take to get him back to diamond. Well, he needs plus 11s there in the hits and the Ks. I think striking out 13.5 per 9 and only 3.2 hits per 9, I think those are pretty good. Now, I will say 13.5 Ks per 9 does not need an 11-point upgrade on a 104 mark. I will say that, but it could probably get 5-6 points, and then the hits per 9 at 3.2 could get a pretty hefty mark, especially when you consider that if you look at last year for Craig Kimbrell, he had 4 ugly outings to start the season. He gave up runs in all 4 of those outings. He was atrocious. He had to work those off the rest of the year, and because it was such a shortened season, he never worked them all the way off. He threw 12 2/3 more innings that people might have not realized. He only had a 1.42 ERA during those. He gave up 11 base runners, 4 hits, 7 walks in the 12 2/3, and had 26 strikeouts. So this rebirth started last year. By the way, I've just noticed in my chat that y'all have gotten a level 5 hype train while we're doing this, and I cannot thank y'all enough. That is amazing. I see Colin and B-Law donating. You guys are unbelievable. Thank y'all so much. I really, really, really appreciate it. That's incredible. I was like, what's going on? Are we getting a raid and a bunch of follows? No, those were sub sounds. Thank you. Thank you. But yeah, Craig Kimbrell, I roasted my podcast co-host Justin Mason for having him top 10 in his closer ranks, even knowing that he had that good part of 2020, even knowing that he had been pretty good from his first four appearances on. I still thought top 10 was way too high. I'm like, he's 32. He doesn't have very good control. What are you doing? I bullied him into lowering him, and Craig Kimbrell's been amazing, and he's one of the save leaders, and Justin didn't draft him as much everywhere because of me. So I'm a piece of garbage, but hey, them's the breaks. Last gold to gold here is the man of the hour here on my shirt, Jake Cronenworth. If you guys don't know what this shirt is a parody of, then you're extremely young, and I feel bad for you. But anyway, I have Cronenworth going up to an 82 from his 80 mark here. Now, listen, getting to diamond would take quite a bit. It doesn't really seem imminent or anything like that. I think he'd have to go on a pretty big power surge. That is uncharacteristic of him. He has 3 homers and 3 steals so far. He's just a really good player, though. And I do think that at the price he's at right now, which is the base gold, you can get him for just over the base price of Quick Sell, which is $1,000. You might as well take a shot that if he meanders his way up to 83, 84, and he becomes a 3,000 stub gold, you can make stubs off that. And then if not, you just quick sell him back and you don't really lose anything. This is a no-risk investment that I really like to do with players like this that I see some mobility from. Now, I'm also a huge Jake Cronenworth fan. I will freely admit that as far as this player goes in particular. But I do love these low-end golds as far as their price. They're almost base price golds that could definitely go up and move their price up, even if they're not going to level change into diamond. And Jake Cronenworth definitely fits that bill. I compared him to Ben Zobrist last year. I said he's the new Ben Zobrist. Doesn't switch hit, but everything else kind of fits the same. Plays a ton of positions, remarkably skilled across the board. Doesn't have one standout skill, but does everything quite well. And we saw what Ben Zobrist could do. He put up tons of great seasons. I think Jake Cronenworth can do that too. He can be a fantasy stud with stolen bases and home runs. I just love everything about Jake Cronenworth's game. I got him going up 2 points. Now, let's get into the new golds. I do have a few that are kind of already tapped out by the market, but let's get into those real fast so that way we can move on to some that got a little something to invest in. First is Tyler Glasnow. You can see the market's already there. This one's kind of obvious. We thought he was going to make it last time and he didn't. Okay, moving on. Julio Urias, you can see right here, there is still plenty to go. 698, 590. You can still get in and make plenty of stubs, especially if this one comes through this week. I still love him, even if he doesn't. If they leave him static this week, I still think if he continues to perform, he'll be there the next update. But there's a great chance this week based on what he needs, which is Ks and walks. Even if they took a little away from his hits because they've been elevated a little bit, I think he could make it up with the strikeout and walk gains and still be enough to get that 1 point that he needs. Love Julio Urias' game. Think he has a great opportunity to go gold this week. This one's a bit tapped out. I mean, it's actually come down a little bit. considering how confident I am, and I was confident before tonight, and then he went out and shoved. Let me get you his line real quick. He put up 7 innings of 1-hit ball with 8 strikeouts and a walk. I mean, that just seals it. So this is as pretty close to guaranteed as you can get. So the fact that you can still get in for 7 something, it's not a huge profit, but it's something. And so we'll see how quickly that goes up. I got my 32 set aside here. I feel great about Freddie Peralta going up this week. And again, Inside Edge gives us insight of how little it's going to take to get him there. So this one feels like a lock. And then let me see if I have any more starters before I move over to... Actually, wow. This was completely incidental. 6 gold players here, and 5 of them are starters. That's just luck of the draw because I had 11 to choose from. I'm giving y'all 6, and I just happened to choose 5 starters. So the other one here or 2 others are, let me just go to their teams. I don't want to be searching for them all night. First one is Mr. No-Hitter, Carlos Rodon. He's been fantastic. Again, still some opportunity to invest here and make 300 plus stubs per. It seems pretty strong that he's going to go. I think at worst he's going to be a 79, in which case you just hold and you wait, you buy the dip, basically. I mean, I know that's a meme phrase right now or not right now. It was earlier in the year with all the GameStop stuff, but you buy the dip on these guys if they don't go. These guys that we have going gold that hit 79, everyone will sell out. You jump in, you pick up their scraps on a discount. But I still feel pretty good about Rodon. Speaking of no-hitters, I feel pretty good about this one too, even though it is another 4-point jump. But again, sorry to beat a dead horse. Inside Edge gives us another insight. They kind of got lucky tonight that so many of the guys we want to talk about are on Inside Edge and it's showing us what we need. John Means, he means business, man. He absolutely has been excellent. He pitched tonight as well. Let me get his updated line while we're here. He went out and shoved for 6 strong. I knew that they would give him a little bit of a lower pitch count, so I was worried he might only go 4 or 5 innings the way Musgrove did after his no-hitter. They did lower his pitch count. He only got 74 pitches. That didn't stop him from going 6 scoreless. He did allow 6 hits, only had 3 strikeouts and no walks. That's fine. I have no problem with any of that. He's been incredible this year. This breakout from John Means has been so fun to watch. He's definitely one to keep an eye on. If they only 79 him this week, you absolutely buy the dip here. I have a lot of confidence in John Means. All right. And then the one hitter that I have here. Oh, by the way, the market obviously already, I didn't point out that the market obviously already agrees on him, but you see here, look at where his buy price is. You could actually make a profit flipping right now more so than anything else. So it can be a little bit risky, but if you already have shares, by the way, you should be putting up sell orders at above quick sell price. Like, feel free to move out of your John Means right now because the market's already allowing you to get what you were looking for anyway and more. All right, so for our lone hitter gold, we're going to go to my guy, Jared Walsh. Again, market's tapped on this one. Sorry, y'all, a lot of the golds are tapped out this week. Do have a few extras on the sheet that you can get in on. But hopefully you got in on the ground floor here. We talked about him when I went through the American League. This is a guy I've liked all off season. I really believed in a lot of what he did last year, even in a small sample, in terms of correcting his swing or changing his swing. I don't know that it was wrong before, but it offered different things and it still offered the power, but it was a longer swing and he had a lot of swing and miss in it. He tightened it up, cut his strikeout rate, and became a power monster last year, took it to the next level. He's been excellent again this year. Like, I know it had something to do with that Ryan Yarbrough thing. I guess he wasn't in the lineup and that really upset Pujols, and so he asked for his release. But the real factor behind Pujols getting released is the fact that Jared Walsh and Shohei Ohtani have been amazing. If Walsh had fallen back off to what he was before last year and just been kind of a middling type player, Albert Pujols would still be on that team. I even with the Ryan Yarbrough thing, because frankly, he probably would have played that game. That's the thing. They wouldn't have been inclined to play lefty versus lefty, but Jared Walsh has been so good. I mean, they're putting him in the outfield a bit this year too. He's wherever they need him to be, and he's been incredible. I think he's going gold. All right, now let's talk about a couple guys that I on the sheet I put 79.5, and it's a little bit of a hedge because that means that they're a real toss up for gold, and I'm leaning no this week. If I put a gold on them, I feel very confident. If not, then I put a 79.5, and I'm like, we should be investing. They are definitely a hashtag hold for gold, but they might not get it this week. The first guy like that is Carlos Santana. I just don't know, and I think the main reason that I got a little bit scared off, because I originally thought, yeah, he'll go gold, because you look at his composite numbers, and while a 259 average is never going to jump out to anybody as great, it's pretty good for Carlos Santana. He's not really known for batting average. However, you're looking at his card right now, and what does he need more than anything else? He needs to get batting average against right-handers. He's hitting 228. So that's pretty tough there. The power might get a little bit of love on both sides, really, especially against righties. So that 73 might go up. Frankly, the 75 contact against lefties could see a few point boost. He is hitting 324 against them. So he really is a toss-up type of guy. I like what Carlos Santana offers a lot. Again, I would invest in him. There's a lot of price, it's a low price to get in, but I don't know that he gets it this week. But you want to get in now while the getting's good and just hang on for the ride, because I don't think it's going to be too crazy of a ride. I think we're going to kind of know, if he doesn't get it this week, but he has another 2 good weeks the next period, including some good batting average against righties, then he's damn near a lock. And then this one was another 79.5, and it's at catcher. It's Christian Vasquez. Now, he has that amazing defense that really sets him up nicely to where he doesn't have to do a ton at the dish to get there. He is hitting 275, but the power really hasn't been there. And so that's the part that kind of has me like, I don't know. And just like Santana, his biggest weakness remains his biggest weakness. He has a 38 contact against lefties. He's hitting 206 against lefties. So that's why I 79.5 Christian Vasquez. I think he's definitely somebody who will threaten gold at some point this year. I mean, he's threatening it right now. He'll continue to kind of be in that realm, but either a big spike in power or a bunch of hits against lefties are what's going to get him there at this point. So if you're in, stick around. You might want to get in now at this good price and hang on for a little bit. Definitely do not get crazy and sell if he doesn't get it this week. I think you have to be a little bit patient with him, and it should pay off. This one, to be honest, I could have 79.5 to this one. Now, I will say just basically the rest of this list is hold for gold. Well, except for one guy, he's on the IL, but he is going to get an upgrade this week. We got a lot of hold for gold the rest of the way on this for the rest of these silver to silver jumps, because there's some really intriguing guys here. I'm eager to see what happens exactly with Zach Wheeler. I only got him for 1 point up to 79. It's there on a cusp right now, and again, I could have 79.5 him. I don't know. I don't know if it's quite there yet. It wasn't an electric run in between this now and the last update. So I don't think we have like slam dunk reason to say that he's going to get it. He was excellent against Milwaukee with that shutout, but he was pretty bumpy against the Mets before that. And the April 26th outing will not count. That was on Monday, the week of the upgrade. So that game counts. So did the Tuesday game. So I start everything with that Wednesday forward. So he only has the 2 starts. I think I would, if I redid it, I think I made the 79.5 thing up after I'd already done Wheeler. So if I'd have gone back and done it, I think I'd 79.5 him, meaning get in, hold for gold, and be patient and buy the dip if he does indeed come down, because there is still some room to invest here. But if he doesn't get it, I think he'll go down probably to somewhere in the 500s, which would definitely make him an even more appealing pickup. All right, this next one here, going back to catcher, is another one that I think could be a little bit of a, another 79.5. I'm not going to say it for all these silvers here, but again, I'd already had Carson Kelly in the books, and then I was like, well, maybe, I don't know. He's been excellent this year, like unquestionably. I just don't know if they're going to move him that quickly here, especially when he's been good since the update, but it hasn't been off the charts. And a lot of his production has come via taking walks. He has a 436 OBP since the update. And that's amazing. But like all that really does is up the discipline. It doesn't say much for what he's doing. Now, he has a good slash line too, 333, 436, 467. So there's some juice there. I think that contact is going to start to move up. If they move up the discipline, we could get our gold this week. You see how close he is to the 78. So that's, he's getting to 78. I got him going to 79. It's going to be close for the gold. Either way, you can get in easily here, hold for gold. Carson Kelly playing like this will be a gold at some point this year. It's just a matter of when, not if he's playing like this. All right, and man, I brought this up during the first roster update about are we doing this again? And it seems we are. My old friend, Fran Mill, I love him. I really do. He's an amazing card in the game. I like watching him in real life. I like everything about the Franimal. He was amazing in MTO last year if you play March to October. And here we are yet again, seeing if we can get Franmil Reyes to gold with hitting only is basically what we're dealing with here. And that's why these guys are so tough. And we need so much from them each 2-week period. So what's his weakest area in the core 4, which is the 2 contact and the 2 power numbers? I call him the core 4. Don't know why. Better than any other core 4 I could think of. He is performing against righties. He's hitting 297. However, he's hitting 233 against lefties, so they might have to negate any plus against righties with a little bit of negative against lefties. The power is there against both sides, and it is there against lefties this year, which is another big area of opportunity for him. So I think the power can go up enough to hopefully counterbalance a negative against lefties. I think this week it puts him at a 79, and then we kind of wait and see. But the price is bargain basement. If you want to get in on this, you can very easily. It's damn near no risk because he's not going bronze. And if he does, we get out way before anything like that would happen. So we just hold and we see where it goes. This one's an easy investment because the price is just so cheap. I don't have him at gold yet, but he is knocking on the door at this point. All right, we have another guy who's pitching tonight. Actually, I think... Oh, no, Pablo Lopez is pitching. I was going to say, is he facing somebody? No, our next guy is messed it up again. Didn't back out, though, so that one doesn't count because I didn't back out. Let's go back to 79 and under. Another veteran that if I told you he might threaten gold this year, the way I would have said Posey would threaten diamond, you'd be like, give me whatever you're smoking. It sounds amazing. Because it's Madison Bumgarner, dude. He's washed AF. And I say, no, he's not. Now, there was a little inkling in spring that maybe Bumgarner could get back on track to being solid. Maybe not his peak self or anything, but a good pitcher. Somebody who is not putting up a 6.48 ERA and looking washed as hell the way he did last year. And it was that his velo got back up over 90. It was sitting around 91. That was only for a couple of spring starts, though. And then he got off to a really rough start, and his velo was sub 90. And it was like, well, he is just washed. He spiked that 91 in spring, but it was a fluke. He's bogus. Now, the only thing I didn't hear, and this is confirmation bias playing big. Nobody wanted to mention that the first 3 starts were trips to San Diego and Colorado and then home against Oakland. Oakland's offense is not world beating, but they're also not pushovers. So those 3 teams whooped him when he was working sub 90. Now, I'm not saying that anyone should have seen this coming. I did not see this turnaround coming or anything like that. I was included in the confirmation bias of yep, guess he's washed. Guess that 91 from spring training doesn't mean anything. False, because he got it back. He's been up over 91 or at 91 or above since that start, and he's been amazing. We know about the doubleheader no-hitter. You can call it one if you want. I really don't care. It's a legal game. There are no hits allowed. It's a no-hitter to me. Of course, it's a 7-inning one. I don't understand why we wouldn't include it because the specialty of it, the fact that it's only 7 innings, will always be denoted. It'll never get mixed in. People were like, don't you let it into the 9-inning no-hitter club. If I see it in that club, I'll drag him out. I'm the bouncer of the 9-inning no-hitter club. What the hell do you care for? Shut up, dude. Everyone will know it's a 7-inning no-hitter. Who cares? Anyway, I guess I care because I'm the one talking about it. His last 5 starts have been excellent, with tonight being another beastly outing. Now, it's not over, so he is through 5. I don't know. He's only at 65 pitches, so he's definitely coming back out. But he's through 5 scoreless, 4 hits, 7 punchies, and 0 walks. So Bumgarner is going to be threatening. I think he's going to get, I put 78, but then with this start thrown in, it might be a 79. And again, it's basically a no-risk run here. I know he's older, but he's only 31, too. We act like he's, 47. Jamie Moyer out there, for crying out loud. I think Bumgarner was left for dead way too early as far as his overall relevance in the league. Everything we know about him is like super red-ass, hard worker, gritty, and all that. And we thought he was just going to roll over after 9 bad starts. What were we thinking, dude? I say we. I mean, I was there. I got intrigued by the 91 in spring, but then as soon as he didn't throw 91 again, I was like, oh, I'm not touching that. I'm out. I could have been in early. Anyway, moving on from that, let's go to Miami and talk about Sandy Alcantara, who is definitely going to be getting an upgrade, I believe. He's been excellent. They've got multiple guys pitching remarkably well this year, and they don't even have Sixto Sanchez in the cut yet. Like, that's the wild thing about what they're doing. If you had told me that, they'd be having all this great pitching going and Sixto's not even there, I'd be like, okay, that's pretty cool. I mean, these guys were expected too, Lopez, Alcantara, and Rogers, but it's been really good, and they still have another guy in waiting who can be just as good. But Alcantara is who I'm focused on right now, and again, super cheap. To why not take a shot that he can get to gold? I don't have him there just yet. I got him at a 78, but he's been excellent. What's his big weakness? Ks. He's at 8.7. He's just under a strikeout per inning this year. That's at least going to get him into the 60s. What's his other big weakness? Walks. How about 2.5? How's that sit with you? Pretty nice. Now, those are his season-long numbers. Since the last roster update, he's been fine. He's been good enough to get some more attention. He hasn't been world-beating, especially with the strikeouts. He has 16 in 20 innings, but only 3 walks. So I really do like that. So I got him getting a couple points and really setting himself up for gold if he continues to pitch well. I'm going to jump the list a little bit since we're here on this team. I might as well talk about Trevor Rogers real quick. Notice that he's a bronze who costs just as much as his 2 silver compatriots. That's because the market knows that he's going to go silver. However, I think he's a hold for gold. That's right. I think he's going common to gold this year. That's how excellent, that's the excellent kind of pitching that he's been doing this year. I got him going to 75 this week. And then from there, we're 5 points away. It's going to take a while after that. You got to be patient, but you can still get in on basically the ground floor. I mean, I guess the ground floor would be if you bought at the very beginning. He was not a common to start. He was a bronze, I think. He started at 65, right? Either way, 65 to gold is still pretty hot. And they definitely got to make up for a little bit of lost time here. So I think a 3-4 point gain this week, get him into silver, and then set up another, another update potentially to gold, perhaps as early as the next update. I doubt that. I would think 2 updates after this one is when we see Trevor Rogers go gold, assuming he continues to pitch like an absolute stud. All right, a few more silver to silvers. We just did that little detour there because we were on the team. Let's go back to the Cubbies real quick. This one's a little bit bittersweet for Cubs fans because Nico Horner does deserve an upgrade up to 77, but he recently hit the IL. So until further notice, just hold if you have shares. He does have the opportunity to get to gold this year. He also has that, like Christian Vasquez, who I talked about earlier, he's got that diamond defense that really sets the base to where all we have to look at is his hitting, and that can drive his entire profile. We got to get him back healthy and on the field first. So just hold if you've got some shares right now. If you want to get in super cheap, you can, but just be careful with injuries. Let me see what his injury is. Hang on, because I'm not even sure. Obviously, depending on what injury it is, absolutely matters for how concerned you should be. Nico Horner has a left forearm strain. Severity is not yet clear. Got banged up in a collision with Ian Happ. And I think Ian Happ went on the IL for concussion. So that was a nasty little collision, I should say, with both of them getting hurt. Yeah, I'll tell you what, for me personally, I would not go investing a ton right now. I don't even have one, to be honest. I should get that just for my collection at least. But the reason I want it is just because injuries are so, they're such unknowns, and we get timetables, and they're usually the most optimistic outlook, and he's not going to go up while he's on the IL. So you can at least wait to see where things are going. If it's a shortened stint, then you can buy back as soon as he gets in. If it's a longer one that requires like a rehab stint in minor league, then you can start buying when he goes on that minor league rehab. There's just no urgency here. So that's why I don't think you have to get in now, even though the price is cheap and there is some moderate gold potential here. This guy might go gold this year, and that might be more surprising than any of the other ones I've talked about, whether it be Posey going to Diamond, although that's probably the craziest. Bumgarner. Who else did I say it about? Oh, Kimbrel. This one, if he goes gold, might be the weirdest one. What the heck, Tyler Naquin? Why are you a god? I do not understand you, but you are awesome. We all know that giant run that he had where he just went off. I think he hit like 6 home runs in 2 at-bats. Don't ask me how he did it, but he got 3 homers in each at-bat. They count that, but they can't count Madison Bumgarner's no-hitter. It seems a little suspect. But anyway, he's been awesome. And he did have a little lull after that initial flourish, as you would expect. He went down from a 1363 OPS down to a 917, and that was actually through the first update. Convenient for us. Since the last update, he's hitting 310, 412, 586 with a couple homers. That's a fantastic line. Let's check his splits real quick, because he can really take gains anywhere. You see what plus 17s would get him up to a 79. So he's a good way away from gold, by the way. This is not like an aggressive hold for gold. In fact, I don't even think it's a hold for gold. I'm just saying if he gets there, that'd be wild. Okay, so he's kicking the heck out of righties, and frankly, he could get these exact plus 17s that we're looking at here. He probably won't go that high, but I think he gets like plus double digits on both sides against righties, but the contact and the power. Against lefties, though, there's not really much here. Maybe a little trickle in the power. The problem is he doesn't play against lefties. He's a platoon guy, and that's what's going to be really difficult to get him to gold, even with the diamond defense. So keep an eye on Naquin if you want, but all you have to do is put him on your watch list. I don't think he's a big threat to go up. Even if he goes up to a 78 here this week, I have him going up to a 77, by the way. Even if he goes 78, 79, I still don't think there's going to be a massive push on his price. So I think you can afford to wait on Tyler Naquin. A platoon player can be difficult to get pushed up. And then one last starter here in the silver to silver realm. Let's go back out, or not. Oh yeah, back out to the Royals. We talked about Carlos Santana earlier. Now we're going to talk about Danny Duffy, who's been incredible. Man, another veteran who's rising back up and saying, "Hey man, I'm not done. I'm still a G." He got an AL best 126 ERA. Now I just bring that up to point out how great he's been. ERA does not factor in on this card. That's why, if that's the first thing you cite for when you say, why didn't so and so get an upgrade? He has this ERA. You're kind of doing it wrong, because that's kind of irrelevant. You have to look at the core skills underneath the ERA. And it brings up an interesting conundrum, by the way, on a guy I didn't talk about in the potential gold realm. But Dylan Bundy is a fascinating guy to me because his ERA sucks. It's 5-something, but his core skills are excellent. And what that owes to is the fact that he's been a bit unlucky, and he has one mega dud start, his last one against the Dodgers, which, hey, we can give him a little break for getting murked by the Dodgers. I mean, who the heck wouldn't at this point? So yeah, I think that start and one against Texas are weighing heavily on his ERA. This is Dylan Bundy I'm talking about. But his strikeout rate, walk rate, even his hit rate are all pretty good. So he's going to be on that cusp. But anyway, Danny Duffy, I didn't bring up his ERA to say that's why he deserves an upgrade, just to point out that he's leading the American League, which is pretty great. His strikeout rate is through the roof this year at 10.1. It was at 9.1 last year, so I thought 58 was a little bit light anyway. I know they use a 3-year, but it's been 9.1, 7.9, 8.2. I guess, yeah, that makes sense. To come 8.2, because last year doesn't count for anywhere near the same weight as 2018, 2019. So yeah, what they brought him in at makes sense, but he's up to a 10.2 or 10.1 this year. So that should get a good 7 to 10 point boost for sure. His hits per 9 is down to 7.1. I think that's worth another 3-4 points. And then his walk rate is down a full walk from 3.5 to 2.5, which I think deserves a handful of points too. So a little sprinkling pretty much across the board should get Danny Duffy up to a 77, setting up a potential gold run. Now let's move into the new silvers. We've got some interesting ones that I do think can make a run at gold this year. And if you want to get in now, it's super cheap. Let's start with my Rookie of the Year pick for the National League, Dylan Carlson. He's under triple digits, folks. This guy's just an absolute monster. If you know anything about prospects, even if you don't, even if you just know a little, you probably know something about Dylan Carlson and the expectations that are on him to be a very strong player. I got him getting to silver this week. I had him last time too, but they didn't quite push him. And I get it. It would have been a big boost. I think he was a 71 or 72 to start the year. So it would have been a healthy boost based off of like 25 games or so. But he's continued to rake. He's hitting 303, 380, 471 with 3 homers. Again, a little sprinkling across the board here because everything's kind of balanced, both in his numbers here and in his, he has tilted the scales against lefties. I was unaware of this this flip in his profile here. He's still doing fine against righties, but he is destroying lefties. He's 9 for 21 with a 429. That's a 429 average with an 1128 OPS. He has a 789 OPS against righties, which is not world beating, but it is fine. He needs a little bit more power against righties. But we're only getting him to silver here. We don't have to worry about that just yet. To get to gold, he will have to get better against righties, but as it stands right now, this is enough to get him to silver. And I've got 27, as you can see. I'm pretty keyed in on Carlson. Big fan of him. I think he's got a great opportunity to move up this year. Let's stay in the Central and talk about Tucker Barnhart. He's just been really good, plain and simple. I got him going up to a 76 this year. 2 years ago, I think 19 is when he stopped switch hitting. It just wasn't working. Cedric Mullins did that, by the way, and he also he's breaking out this year. But yeah, stop switch hitting. You know, switch hitting is so underrated for how difficult it is and how impressive it is because it's often two like wholly different swings. Just the way the body works, swing right, swing lefty is different. We know like lefties kind of have like a natural like little uppercut and everything. So to have like two totally different swings and to just have to deal with all of that in addition to everything else about being a major league player is so impressive to me. It wasn't quite working out for Tucker Barnhart. So he's like, you know what? I could probably do well if I just trim down to one side and I just go ahead and be a left-handed hitter. So that's what he's done, and the results are starting to follow now with a big start to this season. 307, 381, 533 on his slash line with 3 homers. And let me see if he's doing anything against lefties because I don't remember offhand. He doesn't play a ton against them because of Tyler Stevenson, but let me see if there's any potential boost there. I mean, he's 3 for 10 with a homer. So like he has a 1,000 OPS, but it's 10 plate appearances. So they can maybe get him into the 40s against lefties, but they can't go crazy. That said, there is some movement against righties. And again, we only need him to get to silver right now. As far as a gold potential, I don't really see it because he's not going to be given an opportunity to really fix his biggest weakness, which is those verse lefty numbers when they have Tyler Stevenson, who's a right-handed hitting badass prospect, just sitting right there, ready to play against every lefty and against some righties. So I don't really see it for Barnhart as far as gold, but I do have him going to silver here. Next up, we go back to the bump, and we go to another surprise guy. What is it? This is like the theme of this week of surprise guys. Hey, Inside Edge, you done messed up, Ron? Because Robbie Ray beasted tonight. He absolutely went off. Let me pull up his numbers. I know he had double-digit Ks. That is the only thing that I remember from looking at it earlier. He faced Atlanta. I understand why that would be a little bit nerve-wracking. Plus, he's Robbie Ray. But he threw a baseline quality start, 6 innings, 3 runs, 5 hits, 1 walk, and 10 punchies. He did allow 2 homers in true Robbie Ray fashion, but it was to Marcell Ozuna and Ronald Acuna Jr. Those guys are pretty decent at baseball. They're kind of decent. I got him going to silver. As far as gold potential, I mean, he's got that gold card that they usually float out there every year for his flashback. He's been at a gold level before. Can he get back there? Yeah, he can. The one thing that he can do is one of the things that he is doing, which is cut the walk rate. That's the quickest path, right? He's at a 36 right there. Let me see what he's got this year. He's got 2.8 before tonight. Let me just do a little quick maths and add 6 innings with 1 walk to the mix and see where that takes his BB9. And we will do, okay, that'll be 10. That's a 2.6 mark, so he shaves another 0.2 off of it. That's so far and away his best mark, it's not even funny. At his peak with Arizona back in the like 2015 to 2018 realm, he was mostly under 4. Like it was a high 3s walk rate except for 2018. Then he spiked up to 5, and he's been having trouble with the walks since then. 18, 19, and 20, his walk rate was awful. So to get down to 2.8 here and not really lose much off of the Ks has been huge. So he's going to get to silver, and if he keeps up this walk rate, then dare I say that Robbie Ray might get to gold this year? What is going on? We thought last year was crazy. It was. I do not want to downplay last year. It was still fucking insane and way crazier than Buster Posey going to Superfractor Diamond. So I do not want to minimize last year. But yeah, Robbie Ray, pitching very well. I'm a noted Robbie Ray disliker as far as fantasy goes. Nothing against him personally because of his volatility. But with what we're seeing here with this control, that curbs the volatility. So your boy might be back in. I mean, it's too late now. Everyone already has him on a roster somewhere. But just as far as giving him some due. Back to the Cubs. Didn't realize I'd have so many Cubs on this one for y'all. But I got to talk Adbert Alzolay, who I've got going up to a 76. Flashy young prospect who is very much holding up his end of the bargain here from that prospect hype that he had. He showed some flashes last year. He had a nice little 2.95 ERA that jumped off the page and a 1.17 WHIP. Those were both good. The thing was, he kind of showed that typical thrower versus pitcher cliche that we hear about. Again, a lot of cliches are born in fact and something that's happened over time. So just because it's cliche doesn't mean it's wrong or bad. That was kind of the truth, though. He was just kind of chucking it up there, overpowering stuff, striking out 12.2, but walking 5.5. But they couldn't hit it because he was so nasty. He only had 5.1 walks per 9. This was last year. This year, we're starting to see more of a pitcher already. And this transition has come quickly, and I'm impressed. Almost the same size sample as he did last year. 21 innings last year, 26 this year. His strikeout rate has dropped from 12.2 to 10.4, but that's not too bad when you consider that his walk rate has gone from 5.5 to 2.4, and his hit rate has only gone from 5.1 to 5.5. So he's basically given away a little bit of the strikeouts for a ton of walk gain and only a little drop on his hits per 9. That's fantastic. Let me see what he did tonight. Another guy that we had going tonight. I promise you I did not plan this to have this many guys that we were going to talk about actually pitch tonight. Now, this was a 3-2 game. There's no way he got blasted. Yeah, he goes baseline quality start, 6 innings, 3 runs, 5 hits, 0 walks, 6 punchies. Let's go. Adbert Alzolay, hold for gold. I said it. Let's go. Next up, we're going out to Texas. Talk about this Ranger. In fact, we got a couple Rangers in a row here. We're going to start with a little bit of an older rookie in Adolis Garcia. Absolute monster. What is going on here? This is so surprising. And what I did not realize was that he was DFA'd in the winter by Texas. And I forget, somebody told me who. Oh, to sign Fultonevich. And then nobody wanted him, so they were able to get him back. And he's hitting 295, 336, 590 with 9 homers. He has 3 steals, but he also has 3 cuts, so maybe he's not so good with the old stealing. But this hitting is off the charts. I think he's got a great chance to go bronze this week. I got him getting the 5 points. I know that's a big, hefty jump, but this does not reflect the way he's hitting right now. And it is 113 plate appearances, so it's not locked in stone. And they may have to come back and shave it down. Like, he could go to 75, and then if he smooths out, maybe he comes back down to 74, 73. But I think that there's enough skill here, that like supporting skills, to put him at a silver based off of this small sample, to where they're not going to necessarily get burned by him just being a flash in the pan. Now, he is striking out way too much. I fully grant that, and he doesn't walk for crap. And that is a red flag in terms of overall stickiness of this profile. But the power has a lot of viability to it. Maybe not at the same rate. I don't think 9 homers every 27 games. Call me crazy, but I'm not going to go for that. But as far as what he's doing StatCast wise, he's just crushing the ball. And so there is some viability to this raw power that he has. I think by year's end, his batting average will probably be closer to 240 than it is than the 295 that it's at right now. So that's going to be a lot of, ugly run. Maybe he just hits 240 the rest of the way, but he could feasibly bring it all the way down to 240. So there's a little bit of swing and miss, but they can give him a little bit of contact right now to kind of reflect how well he's hitting at this moment. I would not go crazy there. Where I would give him the big boost is the power, though. That's the part that I believe in, and that's why I would get Adolis Garcia up to a 75. And yes, it is another Cardinal that got away. But here's the thing. Here's the thing, Cardinals fans, okay? Let me get a quick little aside here. Let me just get a drink for this one. Shut up, okay? Because I'm so sick and tired of hearing them complain about the Luke Voit and Randy Arozarena deals. Like, they didn't get badass stuff in those deals. Like, what are we doing with this? We're not letting Cardinals fans off the hook for this crap, okay? All you guys do is call yourselves the best fans in baseball and find all these players out of nowhere. You're like known for doing that. So you trade away a couple that happen to flourish elsewhere, and now we're going to fucking feel bad for you? I don't think so. Not a chance, okay? You got Giovanni Gallegos for Luke Voit, okay? And I think you have a first baseman. Oh, what's his name? Oh, Paul Goldschmidt. Shut the fuck up. And then the Randy Arozarena deal, okay? He was great in the playoffs. He absolutely was. But y'all didn't make you did make the playoffs, but it was so fast that I barely remember you guys playing San Diego. So it's not like he would have helped you in the playoffs. But they got Matthew Liberatore in that deal. That's like a premium prospect. So, like, don't act like you just gave these guys away. Now, Adolis Garcia just got away, okay? Fine. But he was like a late 20s guy who hadn't really shown anything of note, and that happens to every team. But you guys are usually the ones flourishing from that, so maybe that's why you're getting, in a twist here, because a few guys that used to be Cardinals took to another level right after they left. Hey man, Adolis Garcia hit 32 bombs in your system in 2019, and 22 the year before that in just 112 games. Maybe you should have seen something there, okay? I know it was the juiced ball in the minors, but damn, if you really wanted him, you could have kept him. Here's the thing. That's mostly just Cardinals fans. It's not like it's Cardinals brass coming out and saying, oh no, we've made a lot of mistakes. Because frankly, Adolis Garcia would struggle to find playing time on that team because they have outfielders that they really like a lot. And I know if he was playing like this, he would play on any team in the league, obviously. But he himself, like, to get that opportunity, he wasn't going to beat out O'Neill, Bader, and Carlson. And I know O'Neill's flaws, but he basically has the same flaws that Adolis Garcia has, and he's 3 years younger and a lot more raw skill. And then Bader, doesn't matter if he can't hit. He's one of the best defensive center fielders in the league, and he's been hitting lately, but either way. And then, of course, Carlson's a G. So, again, in closing, Cardinals fans, shut up. Thank you. In addition to Adolis Garcia, Willie Calhoun's been out of his mind. Look at these two. Look at the difference in price. We know who to invest in, okay? Invest in Willie Calhoun. I think he's going silver as well. Now, I will say I'm a little irked by seeing these plus 13s that don't get him to silver. That it's putting a little bit of cramp in my style here of thinking that he gets to silver this week. I didn't realize he was that far away. That's the tough part about not being able to run the numbers in the front page roster, the way, because they used to match. For those of you that don't know, the offline roster, I call it the front page roster because it's on the very first page of the game or whatever. But the front page roster used to match DD, and I would go in there and I would do the upgrades that I think they should get, and then I can get a more perfect number, at least as far as what my guess would be. That's all I mean by the perfect thing. It doesn't mean I was right all the time, but I had a better gauge of what they needed. Now I have to kind of use basically just what I've learned over the years to kind of guesstimate a bit and use the inside edge when I get it to kind of get a better idea. But I didn't see this one before I put him to a 75. That's a pretty healthy boost against righties. Now, I will say, one thing I really like about Willie Calhoun is he's a lefty who's already built up nicely against lefties. So his gains are going to come against righties. And frankly, he could get these plus 13s. But we need him to get a little more so he gets the silver. He's hitting 340, 417, 472 against righties, which is fantastic. So he is going to get a big boost. Even if he doesn't get to silver, I would put him as a save for silver either way. He's much cheaper than Adolis Garcia. I'd much rather invest in Calhoun right now. Frankly, I wouldn't even invest in Adolis Garcia because I see no gold upside. I actually see some fringe gold upside with Calhoun. Again, we're talking way down the line on something like that. July, August. It would take a lot. It would take like a full scale breakout. But this guy was a big time prospect. He was like right there with Cody Bellinger in terms of their hitting, not their overall game. He has no defense. He had to get out of the American League or into the American League like that. Whereas Bellinger's a premier defender. All his scouting reports said, yeah, he's listed as a first baseman, but he can play the outfield and he can play center. You know, they were saying he's not just a corner guy. He can go play center, and we've seen that. So that's when I say that Cody Bellinger thing, I'm talking just about their hitting. They were both very, very highly touted here. We haven't quite seen it from Calhoun yet. So I think we might be finally getting the breakout. I've been looking for it for years. I'm a longtime Calhoun fan. So hopefully he gets it. All right, let's move out to Baltimore, where they have another breakout. They've got John Means on the bump and Ced Mullins, Ced the entertainer in the box, baby. I mentioned him earlier about how he quit switch hitting, and voila, he's been an absolute stud. Again, this is a big move because he got an upgrade last week, and now we have him going, or last time, excuse me, and now we have him going up to silver already. But I think there's more than enough here to justify what he's doing. In fact, between him and Adolis Garcia, I would say that he's got a more bankable, Mullins has a more bankable profile than Garcia in terms of betting on them early here, because he's cut his strikeout rate big time from 24% to 18% for Mullins, and his walk rate is damn near doubled from 5% to 9%. Those are fantastic improvements there. And we've seen the power spike from him, which has come out of nowhere. My boy Justin Mason was recommending the heck out of Cedric Mullins this year. He loved him as a speed component, and he was dead right. Now, he did say that he could hit for double-digit power, but he already has 6. Justin was thinking like 10 for the year. So, and I don't say that to take anything away from him. I'm saying he's even surprised by how great Ced's been. But, 6 homers, 4 steals, 312 average. There's a ton here. And with this kind of dynamic profile and so much potential gain, and I haven't even looked at his defense. In fact, I'll do it right now. Why not? This video is already 5 hours long. We might as well add to it and be thorough. Let's see if his defense is popping off, because then you could really start to talk gold if his defense improved and maybe if his arm started to improve. Now, how do you improve an arm? The basic way that we could maybe lobby for it from SDS is if he started throwing a bunch of guys out, be like, hey, maybe Ced Mullins has improved his arm, and then they bump it up a little bit, But let me see if any of that's happening. Maybe we just use the field and the reaction to go up, right? If he just does well defensively, that's all we need. It doesn't have to be the arm, because there's still tons of growth in the field and reaction. Okay, looks like he's been a plus defender. I mean, he's got 2 outs above average over at Baseball Savant, excuse me, and this early. But yeah, I mean, I feel like with his speed, now speed doesn't guarantee you success in the outfield, though. I got to be careful not to do that. It's an easy trap to fall in, but there's a lot of skill that takes to be a great outfielder. Speed alone will not get you there. It can help cover margin. It's like velocity for a pitcher, right? It gives you a bigger margin for error, but if you still have those errors, they will catch up to you. And I don't just mean like playing errors. I mean like the wrong path, getting a bad jump, not knowing when to dive, things like that. But anyway, I'm rambling about Cedric Mullins. He's going to silver. and I'm going to put the hold for gold stamp on him. I'm holding all the way through this right now. Because I got in at double digits, and so nothing, like, even if you get in now, by the way, I didn't say that to like super flex or anything, but even at this point, if you bought, you can hold, and there's not really a lot of risk that you're taking. So if you just go along for the ride, if you have the bankroll where you can throw, some stubs off to the side, then just ride it out, because I think he really could go gold. By the way, John Means continues to go up. What do people think his price is going to be when he goes gold? I don't understand. But hey, sell. Anyway, moving on. Our next one is, Trevor Rogers. I already covered him. I got a few bronze to bronzes here, and I'm actually just going to go through these quickly. I haven't done any of this quickly, so we'll see if I stick to that. I get to talking, and I just want to talk about these players. I'm sorry. All right, quick. This one is a quick one because I don't really think he might not even get to silver, but Josh Harrison has been an absolute G. One of the only things, actually, never mind. He's going to get to silver easily. I'm actually going to I'm calling him silver now. I didn't know he needed that little, so I just put him to a 74. Now we're bumping it to silver on the fly. Okay, that one's done. This one's a bummer to talk about, man, because he was killing it, man. He was going to be a hold for gold candidate, even though he's only a 69 right now. I got Alex Kirilloff still going up to a 73 despite the injury. The problem is he's going to fizzle out there because of his health. So even though he's super cheap right now, I still wouldn't even put your stubs in. Again, this is like the Nico Horner one. Actually, it's even worse, where waiting doesn't hurt you. His price is not going to really go up. So figure out, wait till the injury wait till he starts to come back from the injury, goes on a minor league rehab, then you can start to get in if you want. But I do think he's going to get right up against silver this week, 73, 74 area for Kirilloff, and then we'll have to wait and see with him. So unfortunate that he got hurt. So dumb. I wish Manfred would turn injuries off. He's just doing all these dumb things. You want to fix the game? Turn injuries off, okay? Go and you keep messing with the sliders, okay? You got some pitchers using pinpoint this year. That's how John Means and Wade Miley get no-nos, because they're using pinpoint. And you got the exit velos all messed up, but you still have injuries on, Manfred? You got ghost runners on second, but you didn't turn off injuries? Think, guy. Got to do your job and my job? Okay, you're welcome. All right, next up is Josh Rojas for the Arizona Diamondbacks. Absolute stud. He's popping off, man. Now, when he came over in the trade, he was part of the Zach Greinke trade. Let me see, where is he rated? He is currently rated 66, pardon me. And when he came over in that trade, there was a lot of buzz about him. He was putting up just a gargantuan minor league season. So everyone's like, yo, what if this Josh Rojas guy finds some time, because he wasn't getting time in Houston? He could be something special. And his first little run with Arizona was dreadful. Like, holy cow, is this guy even fit to be in the majors type? But that's the craziness of small samples, because even 227 plate appearances, it feels pretty substantial, right? 58 games. It's not nothing. But it's also not enough. We know, based on studying players and running all these, equations to figure out, regression points and stabilization points and all that, and all the stuff that's way smarter than me, to figure out that like 227 plate appearances is still volatile enough to not be a near an accurate representation of a player. So when Josh Rojas puts up 99 plate appearances, that looks a lot more like the player that everyone thought he could be. You can't just use that and say that that means more just because it's what you wanted. That's called confirmation bias. But it gets a counterbalance to this first 227 to now we can say, okay, we've seen that he can hang in the majors for a bit here. He can put up a 30-game run of being a dude. Where do we go from here? And I really think we have an opportunity to go up. This is somebody I'm definitely buying in on and just going along for the ride, because Josh Rojas has the dynamic talent to really go up and even potentially chase gold as the season goes on. Again, I'll repeat something that you've seen a common theme from. I love these guys that are breaking out when they already have excellent defense. It puts such a much lower burden on the offense that they have to commit to go up to the next level. So silver, I think, is very much coming soon. I've only got him to 73 this week, but it's right there. So then maybe silver comes in the May 28th update if he continues to perform. And then if that's up to like 75, 76, then we kind of see where he goes. Check in on him at the All-Star break. I think at some point this year, though, Josh Rojas has a good opportunity to go gold. You get in now and just sit with him for the remainder of the year. What pain does it do for you? You know, just it's a long-term type of thing. You can segment some of your buys into long and short term. You know, guys that I need them to go gold right now. They're hot right now. They could go up. If not, maybe you move on, especially if they start to go the other way with their performance. But some guys, these lower tier ones, the reason I focus on these is because these are the next guys that are going to be the hot dudes. I just said hot guys and then fixed it to hot dudes. That wasn't better, dude. That wasn't better at all. That was markedly worse. These well-performing players will be the next gold and perhaps diamond candidates, but obviously not diamond for Josh Rojas or anything like that. Definitely got a little hold for gold tinge on him. I'm hanging on. All right, next up is backed out. That's twice. I'm an idiot. Next up is Shane McClanahan for the Rays. Young pitcher coming up, looking great. Obviously, these commons come in. They start really low. Actually, I don't know. He might have started there. Did he get updated in the first one? No, he didn't. So he came in as a 65. So not a common, but, you know, close enough. He just needs some love to kind of level out the fact that he's been really good so far. Now, they don't take him all the way up to the level he's been. Just give him a nice boost up to a 73, and then we kind of see where he goes. Also, they might need to get him his third pitch. I'm pretty sure McClanahan has 3 pitches. He has a breaking ball, no? Let me take a quick look. Yeah, he uses his slider the most. Yeah, they need to alter this. And you know what? That's just, you know, that's what they got me for. I'll send over a little note. I'm happy to point these things out in a hopefully non-obtrusive or annoying way, all with the idea of helping, because it's hard to catch everything. Oh, wow, Serenity coming in with the raid. Thank you so much. Wow, that's wild that happened right after the freaking hot dudes thing. Anyway, Shane McClanahan up to a 73. Next up, Sam Coonrod is going up to a 70. And that is... there he is. He's been pitching really well out of their bullpen. And the reason I like this one, and I'm kind of intrigued by it, is going up to a 70... This guy could be a BR stud. Look at his stuff. 5 pitches, 95 mile an hour sinker, 98 mile an hour four-seamer, changeup, slider, cutter. I mean, he's got the pitches we want. Yo, that could be something here for BR and investment. So I actually think Sam Coonrod could be kind of a breakout middle reliever this year with the way he's pitching. He's got a ton of strikeouts, 29% strikeout rate, 3% walk rate. That BB9's going way up. And what I hope it will do, and I would like to maybe give like a little friendly nudge over to our friends at SDS and say, you're going to boost his BB9. Can you boost the control on his pitches so that we can use this gentleman in BR effectively? Because I think it could be a nice bronze who eventually goes silver this year. So, Sam Coonrod, looking pretty nice. All right, the last two, JP Fireisen, another middle reliever. Same sort of vibe as what we're getting out of, pardon me, skip past the Brewers. Same kind of vibe as what we're getting out of Coonrod. You know, he's a common right now, but he's pitching really well. And again, could feasibly see a scenario where we might even want to use him in BR, depending on how much they raise him up, because he got a little extra stamina too. But he's been really good. I actually got him going up to a 70. I think he needs a big, healthy boost to kind of get his numbers to where he's been pitching now, dating back to last year, actually. Let me bring him up. I know I said I'd be quick on these, but I like to lie, apparently. So I lied. It was an accident. I'm sorry. 31% strikeout rate this year. He does have a 12% walk rate, so the BB9... that's not going anywhere, but he has a 2.7 hits per 9. That's really good. And he was at 3.9 last year. So yeah, his surface numbers, his numbers weren't great last year, but and he only threw 9 innings. But people were seeing that he had some pretty nasty stuff that, he'd go through these stretches of like he could be unhittable for a couple of, now he only threw 9 innings, but a couple games in a row he looks unhittable. Next one he gets beat up, gives up a couple of homers, couple of walks. So he was kind of finding his footing a little bit. And obviously the season ran out. He only had 9 innings. This year he's already got 17, and he really seems to have found his rhythm. And if he can get that walk rate in check, he could be a real interesting piece in their bullpen, as if they needed another good guy. Drew Rasmussen's pretty decent too. He's got some decent stuff. Anyway, last guy is, I said, up to a 70 for Fireisen. Last guy is Cole Irvin. And, he's a common right now. He's been pitching really well. I got him going up to a 68. No flash here. Like, he's not going to be BR worthy or anything. I wish him all the best. It seems, we pitch him very well. I'm not here to slander the man. I'm just saying that basically his skill set does not necessarily translate 100% into what we're doing here on MLB The Show. I'll tell you what, though. If he comes up in a BR draft, I'll take him and I'll pitch with him because I feel like I've made fun of him inadvertently, and I didn't mean to do that. Sorry, Cole Irvin. You're a G. Anyway, that's going to do it. That's going to do it for the roster update for May 14th. Is that what we're getting? Yeah, May 14th. And I think it's going to be kind of a banger still. Even though it's not going to be as flush as last time's was because they were catching up, I still think we can see a lot of movement. They're not going to be as aggressive as they are last year, but they're still, I think the first update told me that they're still going to be rewarding high performance. So it'll be interesting to see what we get. Good luck investing. As always, you can come out to twitch.tv/Spore on Tuesdays of the upgrade week to see this live, hang out. Maybe if you want to subscribe, you get access to the full investment list, which is 100 players, and the hold for gold list, where I ranked every silver and gave them a 1 to 10 rating on how viable I think they are for gold over the next 2 updates. So basically the rest of this month. So you can come check that out again, twitch.tv/Spore. Thank you so much for watching.